I am in need of God, the Most High, from the accursed Satan. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, and with them the two radiances, and peace and blessings be upon Muhammad and his good and pure family. And they, may God's prayers and peace be upon him and his family, Muhammad, may God's prayers and peace be upon him and his family, hasten their relief. The research ended with us clarifying several questions and answering them. One of the most important of these inquiries was this one. That is, I theorized the evolution of nuclei on the assumption that they were theories. Did the woman of the Creator and the one who created her stay with that world, or why did she stay with them? Among the other questions that we raised for consolation is the question of whether the lone falls in the Celtic lineage of man, so that we can say that the origin of humanity did not extend after a million years with the evolution of its origin, whether it was a monkey or not. He remembers the consolation regarding the second entreaty. We answered and said that in none of my words is there the same Daru, and none of the righteous after him believe that in the Celtic lineage of man lies what the lone occurs. Therefore, Al-Azia remembers, in volume 25 of the International Arabic Encyclopedia, pages 300 and 350, that we said the theoretical origin of the scholars is this. This Nagriism is based on the statement that the different forms of life go back to one common origin, of which this Khalil is the first. It started from living cells that were formed by chance. This is why one does not believe that there is a creator behind this universe. And the first life found, what a coincidence. Not all evolutionists say that life found, what a coincidence. Rather, there are those who are evolutionary but believe that God created this system. And on this basis, benefit well, and on this basis. We are the origin of all living beings, or cousins, with only apes and humanity having one origin, mice and humans. On this basis, it is very beneficial. This is according to the heavens. According to the genetic engineering system. What will the Kama assume is his highest paradise? And this is clear. And when you find that the call to the evolutionary bionic world, we said in the previous research that they are among the fanatics and the secularists in the issue of what? And those who insist on denying what? Deny the need for what? We do exist, will not be designed by smart people, and will not be engineered. There is an insistence in the Book of God that I am my consolation under the spell, and that the magic of reality is my consolation. You will not be familiar with this translation. My condolences will overwhelm you. No matter who the book is and when it was written. But look at my latest books. Richard de Jeans or de Jeans is different. This man, Azai, is originally from Britain and raised in Kenya. And in Fatima, 1 and 2 quarters. We will not erase my condolences. And many of those who now say this is the truth. They are affected by what? They want Maulana's genes. Which is one of the pillars of evolutionary theory. There is my consolation on page 50, this is his phrase. Although we lack fossils that tell us exactly what kind of God our earliest ancestors were. He is interested in finding out his own phrases. If the strongest fossils are found and there are none, he declares that we lack fossils. I imagine God's presence and then I read his words. I think that many of you who believe in atheism have not read well what John is talking about. He declares that the theory is based on scientific or not scientific foundations. After that, my bad. We have no doubt at all that we will assemble Hazel Teft, even though we lack, but we have no doubt at all. This is to be woven from this second star and not to be woven from the logical grammar. You say there are phrases and minerals. Neen Ijak is not at all certain of this. Except you say, gentlemen. I wish I had a vision. My brother, this is really a terrible sight. Or I believe this will happen. What okay? We rebel with us. But there is a lot of evidence that you evaluate others for what you have. You don't have it. He says we have no doubt at all that all living beings are our cousins. And they are cousins among themselves. Also because their origin is what it is. Its root is one and its branches are in heaven with us. With the Quran, he will speak with us. A good word is like a good stone. Its root is firm and its branches are in the sky. It comes all at once, with the permission of my Lord. It will be interrupted and will not be interrupted. It is a tree that does not care. We fell the tree with a fixed root. Even if our Lord is cut off. After that, I am Shaykh Nabatat, Maulana. After a year of adultery, Maulana will come to her senses. See the Mulan branch and place it as Maulana. We signed this note accurately. The answer is that when you cut off her head. When you start from under the chain of transmission from our Lord. Its growth is many times greater than what it has grown. Who will cut off his head? Ali Lawa. He said as we are. This is why the well-known proverb says, the storm that does not make you fall falls. We also know the modern Mali and Anat, sons of the uncles. Offerings to each other. Like humans and chimps. First two rats and mice. Among them are the children of the blind, who are far from each other. Such as humans and mice. Why is this from religion? Leave me alone. This modern science has sinned. How do we know this? By systematic comparison between them. This is the most important evidence that our origin is one and the same. What is it? Religious. Hide me in God. This is religious. He says we are cousins. If he bears it, because the Creator is crazy. This is necessary, yes, Azza. Etala is talking about them. Once you talk between me and God. Every now and then I go look for groceries. Maulana one of the graduates. Full of Iraq. Because I was busy with what? I have been working on a Tarj and Matsi. Sclerosis. Bakali, our master, is that you say, Ajen Bakel. And their curses, God knows. My master and our mother are leaving, and she is my lust. But what happened is horrible. Our hunter will kill you. That's why I told you once. God knows what I mean. Rate it. They say this and that. Description of a situation. Toddy said the most important evidence of comparison is religion. That's it. He said, may God be glorified. Mother, we come to the matter. It is a matter of necessity. Which is basically it. Dow Jones and his group believe that if the evolutionary theory comes, we don't need a creator yet. They put between them what is logically plural. This means that you either accept the theory of Darwinian evolution after Mom, or you have the right to accept something like that. God is a creator. Or if you accept that God is the creator. Or there is an engineer named this world. Or his grandfather and his creation, my dears. In the words of the Holy Quran, this is what it means. How does the Quran confirm this fact? I hope you create them, because we are the creators. This is the matter of the Creator, which will be clear on God's help in the future. It is the matter of the Creator. All the speed is devoted to the matter of the Creator. On the issue of the Creator. Anyway. Dow Jones declares that I do not accept Shlo. Because sometimes someone might say to our master, you are our helper in the paradise of the presence of ears. This is in paradise, selfishness, in the adjective, my consolation, 9, this is a phrase there. A phrase here in this adjective of 9 consolations. He says that rational beings in any world reach adulthood when they succeed in you and their existence is healed. The exaggeration. And if extraterrestrials happen to visit Earth. I know that the first thing that will come to me in the context of my evaluation of our lecturer is the question. Did the inhabitants of the earth understand the theory of development first? It's all a mess. What he has to say is a hypothesis. Moulin's fantasies are collected. If we got this from another cook, we would be happy to ask. But hope. Unfortunately, the young man is lost. These two are in the neighborhood of Dakar. Where are the two pictures? Baba Dao Jin's Di Tsulan means meet. No Asish. Before Muslima. As Eden Moulin who says Acto Sims Muslim. Arif also modified the saying, whoever is an Arab makes a Muslim go wrong. As he said, it is from Tamimi who says Muslim. This is a problem that exists in Al-Jamil. The living entity was found on earth. However, he says that it is basically. This question has puzzled people for thousands of years. And his answer. And he doesn't. What I want to say to and is that all attempts to answer the first question. How did man exist? He did not find his answer until 1850. I mean, the human nature of the book Gens. My Dano theory. All answers are futile. Unless they come. I mean, all the answers before that. To which God is paradise. Or a human being's grandfather is a paradise. This is on page 9. On page 9, I understand his statement clearly. And Frank after reforms. He says to the right person. There was no engineer. That's it. Very original design. What? In other words, it's all random and a coincidence in heaven. In a coincidence. In deoxyribonucleic acid guidelines. Collected by natural selection. How did you gather them? She spends GG 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, 5,000,000 years. Fod once cursed Jannah. Let me mean what cows are full of. Say. God willing, this is a study by someone who delved into the theory of evolution and presented it accurately. What does this mean? Even he accepts or does not accept Azka. But here lies a fundamental question. What we did not ask. This is in previous research. This God is here 10 minutes in the previous search. As for the new research. What is meant by type? What is meant by species evolution? Or the evolution of species? The advantages of this vocabulary have logical uses. What are its uses? So the foolishness. What are its uses? Verbally. They are full of evolution. They are crazy. Type. They are located in the Al-Arsali area of Tetical. From attending colleges. One of the colleges what? Type. This is what they say about the evolution of species. The depth of their soda is this type. What do they mean by type? A branch. You know what type it is. Then evolution says. This is evolutionary. I mean, the movement that we call philosophy. It means something goes from strength to strength. What is their purpose in development? If there is no stop sign, then there are two singular figs. So that you will know from now on who is saying it. The origin of species, the evolution of species, and evolutionary Darwinism. Non-Darwinian evolutionists know what is meant. Or the first word, which is type. What is meant by type? In the 6th volume of the World Arabic Encyclopedia, my condolences. I am this bitter demander, I mentioned what he has, and I may read all of this to her. I mean, if we go back, the picture remains dark. They are as cloudy as I can give you the shoe map. But I can't bear to read the entire system, my condolences. Under the vocabulary of my condolences scientific classification. These are the words you want to receive. In the magazine, which is page 6, there are 95 Scientific classification says what is the definition of such and such. He basically comes and says, the life being is as if it lives in the 7 circles. The largest circles. Then a smaller circle. Then smaller. Then smaller evil circles. If the circles are not separate, these circles are interconnected. Interactions. The big circle. Then circles. Then the 7th circle. The mother of Lula district is called Al-Munlika. These are reforms in the pain of living, my condolences. These are reforms in the pain of the living. What is life, of course? We are a source of refuge for the lifeless. Of course, on the basis of the experimental pain of biology, not on the Quranic pain of biology. And the Quran shows you everything that is living. This is a city that talked about the one who moved. We speak transmitted pain experimental biology. The pain of possession. And living things from the fields, pure on inanimate objects, are like life to the Most High, and more powerful than plants and animals, they are full. It is an inanimate plant. I mean. That is why you find that it is an inanimate object, and there are conditions for a malleable thing. Something. I wake up. Upsaf Mulan Bakshan. Argument. Fear the alpha. The pain of possession. This is the first fattest. Branch is the 2nd circle. Atifa is the 3rd circle. The wettest is the 4th circle. A platoon is a circle. B. 5th. Sex is in biology, not in the selector. Sex is the 6th circle. The type is the 7th circle. This is what type is the consolation of the scientific classification party in biology. She the rockiest circles in life's beings. That's why he says when we reach the kingdom. A year ago, in Tyrian, there were 2 kingdoms of life. The animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. But now I can't stand it. The kingdom of Lu was divided into 5 kingdoms. He says there are 5 Maulana kingdoms. Plants, fungi, and myrtle. This is what we launch here, of course we will demobilize the existing ones. The animal kingdom is the largest. Of these kingdoms, of course, the plants. To date, it includes 1 million species discovered. Let's ask what is the largest million species in the animal kingdom. Million animal species. If he loses weight, the lamb knows what kind it is. Some of them are familiar, some are known, and some are unknown. Plants by Timo 50. 1000 and explains Mulan. Then he comes to sex and such now. Now it's 6 o'clock, Sinu is preparing for us. Sex. What kind is her stomach? Now the lights are under the Jenin. 1. This is the area's livelihood, a thief. As for his mother, he is the type. Al-Taftal al-Jai. A species is one that enables its individuals. Taftal recognition. Its members can mate and transmit its genies or parasites to what? It's just traditional, not just at the first plate. Don't continue. Laziness, God willing. 7 layers approaching. But don't stop. So he applied the first. If that is the case, these individuals will be among them, Maulana. Kind of individuals. 1. A question. What is the same as the colon of the horse and the horse? The decline of beauty and donkey in kind. Kind of. What are you saying? Do they mate and produce a mule? Here they are doing well, may God reward you. Well done Jahu. This is why I set an example of the West's habit. That is, he married individuals. They mention something like this from this side, you are going to get a pipe. On the contrary, it becomes clear what we are exaggerating. But he agreed. It may or may not be. Repeated. This is kind of. So what is the beauty and the donkey? Kind of. He says a million kinds. Did you get bored? God willing, we will come to the scientific researcher. It is 1 protein equal to 1 protein. Sean's fortune teller. Whoever insults the poor, 40,000 dirhams and 5 from Asar Maulana. See how many trillion years it takes to even see it. It takes shape. There are 6 million different types of shapes. What more do we need? This search all brings consolations. So that you know that it is between me and God. These are the ones who went and saw this. Is ignorance a paradise? Haha for Modi Mulan. I'm flying around. Sign this search term. They are the sunnah of whoever reads it, as he is trustworthy. My faith increases. Something gets hotter from him. His faith in God. Glory be to him. We are the ones who knew him. That time will become clear. From our fortune tellers in Sahuf. This is divination. Lord, where is this? The 3 suggested Badara and Hanima. Follow them and let's keep them busy. They ran away. But it is the resurrection, the matter and the particle. His fortune tellers did not know him. Aslis you know. On the air. So he knows the type. Wemsel says that type is the basic unit in the classification of living organisms. Individuals of the species unity also have iron. Many common traits. But it differs from other synagogues. One of the most important features of the species is the mating of its individuals. Among them. Producing young ones. That closely resemble their parents. When you grow up, recognition decreases. Enough is enough. He bore his jinn. The culprits who blame the parents for a committee. In which the loan is counted. Ha! You broke up. This is what they are talking about. By type. What is development? Development, my condolences. In the Arabic Encyclopedia. Universal there is a convention. I intoxicate the term. Intoxicate the source until those who ascend are reeling. Shabta Olana. I don't see it. This will comprise 7 sections of the kingdom. Eric depends on sex, after we explained. My brothers visit there. The first part of the Global Arab Encyclopedia. Page 227, my condolences. There is a term called entamoeba geni. Proteobacteria gene. This is the system they say. If we want to take it. Note 1 culprits that it exists. Information that exists in one paradise. Information that exists. In one heaven, no less, we need a library of 6 and 40 volumes. Each one with a substance. 1,000 pages, 1,000 pages. The information that exists is paradise. In heaven alone. Every jinn seriously. So, £1 billion. You are the office of Mater from Nail Ajad al-Sarmola. These are all deposited. In heaven. The one who is her servant is the second paradise. What he says is one of these paradise. What are the effects of the perpetrator's loyalty? Selfish perpetrators. This is a genie masked ode. Mazumt. Mazumt. Everything he needs. All exist what? There are perpetrators. Each. One is a hybrid. You have all the information. From shape, length, none, size, moral, and urat. Each one of them has all the information. Yes, we only reach the kalal, which is very high in the one. What about non-sexual cells? As for sex cells. Text and text. 320 here. 320. Here. Until it happens. Interference. It is an easy new production. Ali Lawa. This is a genie masked ode. This is where changes happen. When they say what they mean has evolved. Evolution of Ayin. The shape evolved into a new shape. The neck was short because it was not a hoop. Long. He was walking on all fours, now he is walking. I bend. Then they are all 10 times changed. So from here he took a law. The evolution that Darwinian theory says is not in shape and forms are related to evolution. In the perpetrators. If we find out, it will happen. This is related to this. Linked to the effect of the gene. Related to mastodont genii. If your religion feels that it is the door of this development. Abu Arba'in Masha'Allah is a genie. I am not a torchbearer of great stature. Sean thinks so. Now, this is not related. This shapes of Bari what? To evolve. This means the effect and the two factors. Fodder mastoplasma jinn. Here there are researchers. How are these changes protected? Why do we develop them? Or change their appearance? Jane. Flemstoda jinn. Boxer. Here is one of the most important basic facts in the book ASL that contains this research. What are the laws that control the genie? Mastodon. He says there are 5 basic factors. Firstly, you are naturally disappointed. Secondly, the mutation. Thirdly, hereditary graph. Fourthly, the influence of the founder. Fifthly, those who left and the inherited ancestors. It means that he says there is peace between me and God. Or the man who lives in Hanana in the eastern region. And when the system of a gene or gene is masticated, a specific dough. And when abandonment fades, Yuhain Mulan. In Afnak Yuhain. When the dough is cooked, it becomes mixed and mixed. So Shani and Jamulan start. And if one time you find that after the generation, the water will scratch the brushes of a tooth connected to the first one connected to the dough. This is how he expresses his paradise. Desertion Gosa Rainal. And when I live Hanana. It is made of dough. This is how he expresses his paradise. Al-Hai Jagosa Rainal Aza's legacies. It is clear to us, Aza. It's clear here. So when we say the evolution of styles. I mean what? It means changes occurring in the genetic matrix. Compatible to more what? To more than a jock. Clear shout. Ask that we researched. So they move forward. We looked for this. Basic question. Your thoughts are sweet, my condolences. To photograph the case. He deliberately abandoned us. I asked for a seminary. We know that editing is fair. And photograph the subject. Your right to knowledge is guaranteed. All knowledge, that is. Until now, I haven't photographed much yet, so first I eat. You will not develop and ask them what the topic is about. A sander and the mango that kills. My condolences. 3 research papers on the house system. First search. To enumerate the lights. After clarifying what is meant by type. Type, marine life. His refuge is a house. To enumerate the lights. The disgusting creature. Otherwise, to this day. I believe. Unlike the contemporary virtuous. Among contemporary virtuous people, religion says customs are fixed. The command the first is to enumerate the lights. Constant for the variable. This is the first research. Second search. Regardless of the fact that the conditions are constant for the variable. These lights. It can make a difference in mating with each other. Or it can't. Jehovah. No matter what. So she stammered, but what was between them? Clicks. What comes out? Another serious thing. One time it increases without anything. Extinction. No Verfi. He approached me with 10 narrations. Communication is distributed based on their value and jobs in such a way that it increases. For the possibility of non-organicement. The robe has become more disgusting than some disgusting moths. How wonderful elf word is because it puts footwork. It is sin, yes. It is a changing edition of conventions in the child of help. It even harms 1940 reading. This research question is the research question that the type of one is that the type of one is every human being and every ape. This is the words of the chimpanzee's paradise. Every human being assumes. This is a type of one after evidence of the quality of mating and embryonicity, and it reproduces without another telling us what type of one this is, dead in phase, or light in star, or dormant. And if it evolves, it develops in its external conditions, otherwise the genetic reserve remains a fixed paradise. This is a three-problem issue. How many people have asked to count half of it? The first issue is that we return to life and it is fixed. If we enter into the living, we are talking about non-living things. Living things are based on the availability of the branches of the other. It is constant. The second is that a species of one species can produce a species of another species, or it cannot. The third is that one species can produce a species in the genetic reserve once it is interpreted. I mean, for example, see an example. Even being, and the rational person, is sufficient. I mean, for example, the lesser he understood to a degree, but produced a species after that, he understood 40 degrees. So, the story of a human being is 40 degrees higher than a human being. This is the same degree. And we go into the depths of man and the beasts. If the human mind becomes an individual in a certain period of time, the power of reasoning will be multiplied 40 times when the actual human being has gone between me and God to cause between this human being and this human being a porcupine that has fallen into such a state that you will find that some of the stars were able to learn them, some numbers, some words that parrots were able to learn, had they not been able to learn them to a limited extent after they were able to exceed the ability to exceed them. Do you appreciate the ability to fill a person? This child is you. Experiments exist that the monkey and the child Mulan are alone in the injustice of the same circumstances. He found that they walk meanings because he reaches the level of the monkey after he climbs up to them. He ascends and does not ascend if he is bored. This child is not preferred because he prefers because of me because of advancement. So if the child grows up as a human being now and the human being in a million years, I will see between me and God that this person's awareness, understanding, and reasoning are better than my mother's. Is this possible or not? This development is not possible because it cannot develop. No, if we talk about one individual led a source of origin or a link to them in evolution, like the prophet, a link to a level that can be compared with it. It is not equivalent, but this development is not an individual person. This is that he is talking about what is in the light in the gardens, in the garden, an evolution that becomes from the Shosh of a Nawa, Naji, named teachers according to the state of speaking about names. I say, this is a rank that is troubled, this is the form that has become, only cases, I say 5 degrees, Yahoo, where do I say, good, I say, Kawa. Yeah. Be patient for a little while, I swear I'm searching, I say, I reply, I say, you know what the hell is wrong with religion. Now, I say, the research is clear that it's the science of religion. I'm going to get old. After that, I say, I can say, no, I can say, maybe, it doesn't come in. He's a complete old man. You know, he's the one who loves you. Curse the old man. I'm fine. I say, I'm tired, answer it. If you transfer the inheritance of Masa'a al-Azai to the first evening, what is the difference between al-Anwa, Tabat Lamtagi, and the second evening? Then the second evening is mixed with al-Anwa. The third, what is the evolution of the species? One question. What is the position of the religious idea on this third evening? The third answer, in general, the idea is religious. In general, it is believed, but it is negative. If this is the third evening, he says, first, because the stars have returned to God's creation and will continue it as such and will not change. A dead species remains. Only a smell may be missing. A species becomes extinct, but it is never incomprehensible. The hand of God creates a new species that I eat with you. The second evening, the stars mate to produce a new one, or it is not possible. It is perfected in Al-Mafiz al-Janim and Al-Awar al-Dahiri, meaning the ineffective Hazalan. It was worse, he tended to it except al-Sanu, except al-Yabak, then he could not, but basically it becomes a very big development that arrives as if you were exhausted and worried about al-Bayam, and between him and him if he remembers the playing at the end of al-Hikmah and in the travels, we said that if the doubts of high levels became a source of fear for him, what about al-Baybaim? Why? Because the rank is Genoese and very broad, as for the degrees of Lazb al-Meth Neem Meth Mak. The World Problem of the Arab Encyclopedia, Volume 10, page 226. Dear ones, no, I am lost from the burden of the example. If we grow old, we create more fully in my life. Volume 10, page 226, Dear ones, says one of Dar's theories, and great shocks to all who were living in his era if people believed and still believe that God created every type of life with an independent document. This is that on a page of Mateen in the first volume, a page of a third page, and it is a consolation if we see this. What we have read is that in the animal, it is not the case that animals mate with each other and produce a species. Most biologists believed for a long time that every species of life remained as it is without change. This is Ma'al Adin. We are confused with others, that humans give birth to a cow. We give birth to a cow, and no new species have appeared since the creation of Kaun, except that we derived offspring from it. I theorized from, and the consolation of my theory is that Darwin first came to deny that this created an independent species. Rather, he said, who created the first evolving, and secondly, I believe that the lights are what, because this space is constantly increasing, and thirdly, that the lights are in full swing between them, and this produces new lights, so it remains that he is on and is encircling all this evening for all four, so he will be bleeding due to religion as he has been bleeding due to religion, and that is why you will find that between me and God, that in the evening, he follows in front of him, he follows in front of the abstract, a fourth consolation at the end of which one of Surat and Nisa contains a verse of speech in that man is an independent species. Transformed from another type, this phrase is needing it, meaning it is needing it in a straight way. The nuclei mate, not changing from another type. The change is in the other, says Alcoft. He says, and this is a premise. He turns until he says, on page 14, he says, and it is raking. He says, and shortening it, it develops according to the states of these nuclei without their tool. It means that there is a change in essence and it does not change in essence. Of course, he says to our master al-Harakat al-Jawarim al-Malsatra, let's say, I am speaking to the state of affairs of the state of affairs. My religion is a complete statement that accepts the fundamental movement, then the fundamental movement is a qualitative individual. My condolences. The fundamental movement is individual and nonspecific. My condolences. We are talking about the genealogy of the genetic portfolio. What does the species have? What does the hypothesis have? My condolences are clear. My condolences became in the encyclopedia. This speech is in the encyclopedia. The Arabic World, Volume 5, 20. My condolences. This is his phrase clearly and explicitly. He denounces his phrase clearly and explicitly. Page 8 and 58. He said there, and this is Anwa, and we told you, and the effect the repetition of these new genetic characteristics ultimately leads to the emergence of differences between species and the emergence of new species. Neo-evolutionists believe that mutation and genetic change occur when a break occurs in the codes of this. Whoever says this is a theory. Few have theory. Those who hold the theory of evolution say all of these 3 evenings. What we have referred to is possible. What is in the place? Why do they say this is not possible, and al-Akif al-Tafdil is good? Neither of these provided evidence to prove the impossibility, nor did these provide evidence to prove the occurrence. I mean, you are to ask Sayyid al-Tabtabai, what is the evidence of Kaala that man has found a species? What is this? Independently, what is the hill of Shirgun, not Shirgun? Al-Zahar says, he who is tired has Shirgu, what is a game? That is why when he says, and he cares about it, the phrase, sign and look at the expressions of Shirgun, he says, and inquire, but the point is to point out that it is an imposition that we assume from it, a distortion of Darwinism to direct the questions related to it, without any conclusive evidence based on it. The truth to which the Quran refers is that man is a species separated from all other types according to his understanding of it, as a drummer's fence, not opposed by anything unscientific. I mean, if there is scientific evidence that contradicts this, no, how can we fix it? We will raise its meaning in light. If all the evidence we have for these 3 or 4 issues, what is the isolation of it? What remains is that every type is a million of our knapsacks. Isn't it possible for you to heal a million perhaps, and after you will heal a million? I don't know what this saying is here. God created him from dough. No, who we are is independent, canon from 2 independent wings. He added her mind to the shape of a cow, to her creation, and the shape of a rich, sublime, independent. Like the creation of Adam, he is mad. Here we are, the independent, and these 2 people mate and do not mate. They do not mate. They develop in a genetic wallet and they do not evolve. They do not develop. They are spittle. Directly opposite to the Taftajida, you will find a theory, and Corral reads the Nal al-Izza, which is a theory from him. The theory of Abd al-Saburshan says, never, its metabolism is in the Quran. It is never enough to mate. Rather, man evolved from his ancestors, but the ancestors of the monkeys, whose ancestors were something called humans, and perhaps it was millions of years before him. So, Adam, is he born of 2 parents? If he was born of 2 parents, but human beings, he is not ignorant. And man started from Adam, and the calcination was directed to him, and before him was the basis of the Lamia. Be at the level of calcination. He made the search. His earth is a wet land. So the appearance of his paradise is he. He says, take advantage of it. This is how I am a paradise. I refer to expressions at the end of the book, these are expressions of a master on page 230, and this is a phrase that says that God Almighty has dealt with created human beings, making them and forming them. Indeed, creation and formation are 2 stages in the life of mankind. It took them a few million years. The drawing here says until it comes on page 241 that the creation of man was completed through the rest of the 3 creations, formations, and destructions, and that the stage of creation, the first, is the one that transformed dirt or clay into an apparent human being. The creator of 2 living creatures means that he transformed non-living clay into 2 living creatures. This is a problem. The problem of every atheist is that how to transform the non-living thing into a living creature. It is the one that transformed the dirt that moves on the earth with the spirit of an animal. May God bless him and grant him the problem of a host of predators as all other creatures move. Then fate dealt with that creature in the second stage by modeling or what can be done by a woman to resemble the building and beautify it, which is the modification stage, and it took millions of years, by God. I know its details, and then comes the third stage, which is to provide the normal creature with the faculties and abilities that they have quintessentially barren, which is the human being who has become a resource. What to rely on? This is a full witness, a full witness, a full witness, a full witness, to the Quranic verse. Of course, it is decreed, inferred and not inferred, but this is the Quranic which, according to some sayings, is perfect for sayings that are good. They said, you make in it that which spoils and regrets bruises, and we glorify your praise and sanctify one for you. It is said that before this Adam, he was the worst of human beings, and he used to kill and eat some of them insulted each other and shielded each other, so when I told them that I am a creator, I will create a moral one. I will make a caliph. One of them will curse him. This is their son, not their door. I am the one who bestows upon you other than this, and they have some sayings. Prepare them like this, like this, like this. Otherwise, who will I teach him this? And whoever corrupts and regrets such and such and so and so. What? This is one of the sayings. His illness is small, but I say one of the signs with which he infers the core. Based on this statement, your knowledge will be good. Are we going to wander into Egypt until they say that this is what he wrote? This is contrary to the deceptions in its lands. What is evident? This is contrary to the arrogant, if the arrogant contradicts the pieces. Is a committee of formalism, the Islamic Research Academy, the Secretary General, Sami Muhammad, a succession of poetry and 2 poems in the history of 1014 and 20 from Al-Man al-Hijra, saying, why did we read this that we have read in such a way that we know that it is ijtihad? Araniya means he committed an act that violates the principles of the Quran, whether he violated the principles of the Quran or did not violate them. If he violates the principles of the restrictions, a paralyzing ruling will be imposed on him, the ruling of restitution. May God save you, but praise be to God. The poor man says, whatever it is, what ends, my God, is the committee, that the author does not rhyme with such a violation, no contravention. What is the matter? Adbar Ratf Misconvection. A Muslim appreciates ablution, so my point is that I have summed up my words in one sentence. Tafchila is good. Tafchila is one sentence. If these 3 or 4 courses are not evidenced by proof or negation, what is it? And all parties verify you. Al-Maskal, O Huminha. O second concern, are the nuclei increasing or are they not increasing? Can there be changes in the genetic reserve that lead to the existence of new nuclei of needing or not? Are there 4 nuclei? Can evolutions evolve? If you measure it to an original, you will find it to be the same as if it were another species. Or is it not possible? We have not yet found evidence that does not support the evidence that yes it does, as he says. What is the theory of Darwinism? And there is no conclusive evidence. This is what convinces us that it does not exist. Evidence from this is more powerful than this. This is more evidence from narratives and transmissions, Quranic verses, and evidence from fossils and who led you in amazing ways that evidence, but so that we can convey to conclusive and scientific evidence, as Sayyid al-Tabi said, until now, these are those who say that it is not contradicted by 2 scientific evidence, meaning if he is satisfied with 2 scientific evidence, I do not want. What do we do? I do not believe that, as we have said in other places, they used to say that the center of the world is not a destination for a wasteland after Copernicus. Is it a center, and is it the center of the world? Hide us, can we obey? The people of the sea are people who will not accept it, because they will not postpone the sciences of Al-Kubayah, and what they accept will not be frank and ungrateful. They will not accept it if it will be irritated. He will say no. If the lizard is one-eyed, the scientific evidence will save him. We raise our hand from the evidence of evidence. However, until now there is no scientific evidence for this issue. The hadith is completed.